Hello, this is Sylvia Stock here. I'm going to read you now a few snippets from my book, From There to Here, Journey of a Skinned Rabbit. A bit from chapter 1, A Not So Grand Entrance. It's 1943 and Britain is still majorly at war. This year was an important one as it saw the support of the United States in our war against Hitler. Daddy was serving in the Royal Navy. He sneaked in at 16 years of age and after training in Portsmouth had a great career of 21 years with much of his time aboard HMS Sussex, which was an active player in World War II. On the 12th of July I popped out in around 5:30 p.m. interrupting Mother's supper in the Hampton Wick Hospital, apparently looking just like a skinned rabbit. That was the beginning of an interesting and amazing journey with many twists and turns as my soul journeyed in this lifetime. As I recall early memories, it's interesting that they are not joyous occasions, but with my knowledge now it is clear that every moment was a, choice. It took me years of experience and life choices to realise that all one's experiences are part of the journey we choose as a soul or divine energy spark prior to entering the world. No matter where our journey takes us or the choices we make, we have the opportunity to learn and grow, impacting on our realisation of and living in harmony with who we truly are. Spirit incarnated through dense flesh, to expand and become enlightened, ready for the return to that other world from whence we came. Well, let's move on a little bit in this book, and we'll move on now to where I am moving towards my very first goal of being a nurse. Now, by the age of 5 years, I had a dream of becoming a nurse, just like Daddy's grandmother. Always looking pale and ill, you can imagine the comments of adults around me. She wants to be a nurse, can't see that happening to her with her poor health. She's always having to miss school. How easy it would be to listen to these words and truly believe them. Somehow an inner determination took over, and I did not let my dream die. And so it was, I actually went on to college and did my pre-nursing course. And got into nursing. You see, my dream of a nursing career looms closer, but first Sylvia must pass a minimum of 4 O-levels to be accepted for the nursing course. The chosen subjects include biology and human anatomy and physiology and hygiene. Determined to do well, Sylvia works hard at her studies, which is a pleasure to do as it is a major step forward towards fulfilling her dream of becoming a qualified nurse. Time is rapidly passing and studies to lead me to my nursing career are in full swing. Our lead tutor was a miss who had been a nurse and was very strict in her ways. She would bang on the desk to keep you awake and give us a hard time with learning human biology and hygiene. Questions would fly across the room accompanied with a look that filled you with raw fear if you could not answer her immediately. Oh dear, she's going to ask me. Fearfully this thought runs through my mind. Sure it was. So I froze as she stared at me and shouted, "Miss Bryden, what's up with you? Is your brain made of cauliflower?" The class giggled. I wanted to cry and someone else thankfully raised their hand and answered the question. In hindsight, I would think I was being prepared for what was to come in my nurse's training. Another day we were being taught more about the human body, and I was concentrating to take it all in. My expression must have been of a sad, morose individual, because once again I was picked on. "Miss Bryden, if you look like that when you're on the wards, the patients will all drop dead." That was really inspiring for me, or not. The irony of that particular statement she made is that when I did go into nurse training, I was always the most popular one on the wards because I was happy and smiling. So there you have it, you see. You can never tell, can you? You can be concentrating and people think you're feeling miserable. Well, the day dawns for me to pack my bags and move into the nursing home at the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital in Stanmore. I was both excited and nervous about launching forth into the unknown. Mummy was pleased for me, Daddy proud that his favourite little girl was embarking on her career at last. I would of course return home on my days off for 2 or 3 days, for which I would give the calculated amount of money to Mummy as my home board. This was because we were refunded money in our salary. Being unaware at that time of the financial restraints at home, I resented this, as all my colleagues in my training set got to keep theirs. Later reflection made me realise that it was a good lesson in budgeting and paying your way in the wide world. Well, it comes to day one on the wards, and I was rostered for the late shift on my first day and walked the long corridor open to all elements in between the wards, with only a roof to hold back some of the rain or snow. Proudly I walked onto the ward in my uniform, complete with brand new fob watch and name tag adorning my dress. Hung my cape up and gingerly knocked on the office door. "Come in," the ward sister's voice responded. "Welcome, it's Nurse Bryden, isn't it?" "That's right," I replied, hiding my nerves fluttering in my abdomen, fear and excitement combined. "Nurse Bryden, will you take a bedpan to Mr. Jones at the end on the right?" Something within me froze with embarrassment. Only in biology lessons had I seen pictures of the male anatomy. I was about to see my first fully naked male body lying in a plaster bed. For those who have spinal surgeries, they do not wear pyjamas, just covered with a sheet for warmth and privacy. Bravely I marched down the ward with a pristine, clean stainless steel bedpan, could see your face in, covered with a bedpan cover. "Hello, I'm Nurse Bryden," I state, pulling the curtains around the bed. "Why, hey," a male voice cries, "you're lucky having a good-looking young nurse behind the curtains with you." I clung to the bedpan, trying not to show my embarrassment, and gingerly pulled back the bedclothes to place the bedpan strategically in the correct position, trying not to be seen to be staring. "Ring the bell when you're ready," I stated, and removed myself from the curtains. "Nurse, I need a bedpan too," echoed around the ward from other patients with big grins on their faces. I was already learning that patients easily recognise new recruits and love to tease and make fun of them. I realised that I had to very quickly learn how to deal with this, and fortunately more senior students always backed me up. Well, moving on, here we are, is one of my memories of training days, and that was I was blessed to work with the consultant who pioneered pain control and opened the first UK hospice in Sydenham, St Christopher's Hospice. She became a world-renowned speaker and knighted for her work with pain control. Yes, it was Dame Cicely Saunders, some of you may have heard of, in her pioneering days. I learned so much about the importance of creating a daily regime that keeps patients pain-free. The secret is to monitor their pain levels and give appropriate drugs doses, and initially at exactly what time pain began to be felt. And of course, the prescribed drug had to be administered at exactly the right time and not a minute or less later. Woe betide any nurse that forgot time and the patient suffered unnecessary pain. If you did that, you were in for a major dressing down from Dr. Cicely Saunders, as she was known then. That experience impacted greatly on my nursing career, and I would always do my very best to ensure that whatever it took, patients on pain relief had the same standard of care. Well, time passes, and before I know it, I'm in my final year of training, with responsibility being placed on my shoulders to things such as senior nurse monitoring, which enhanced all my practical skills along with knowledge. It was great to learn by experiencing hands-on nursing during the training years. The discipline has been a great teacher for life generally. It creates greater self-discipline in life and attention to detail. When someone's life is at risk and you're requested to do something, there is no room for, "I'll just finish this, sister." A bit like the armed forces, there were times when if someone in authority said jump, you did have to say in your head, how high? And in May 1965, I recall gathering at the notice board and seeing whether I'd passed the hospital final exams. Hooray! I'd received good marks and was well up on the leaderboard. And then it was the state exams in June, and in August the same year a letter arrived at my home, and I insisted on opening it on my own with Mummy and Daddy out of the room. I felt sick in my stomach. Had I actually achieved my dream of qualifying as a nurse? My hands were shaking as I opened the envelope and tentatively unfolded the letter. Joy of joys, my heart leapt as I read, "Dear Miss Bryden, we are pleased to announce that you have been accepted on the State Register of Nurses and can now apply for a uniform permit. Your state registration badge will be forwarded to you." Now, if you have a dream or goal that burns deep within you, don't let it sleep through your life. Wake it up and do what it takes to fulfill it. Ignore those around you who destroy your dream. Let your higher self lead and guide you. Face your fears and just do it. You see, life is a journey of experiences that will teach powerful things if we will allow it. Enjoy your journey and experience fully everything that life has to offer you.